Hello everyone. Let's discuss about the second chapter of history, nationalism in India. As you have seen, modern nationalism in Europe came to be associated with the formation of nation state. It also meant that a change in people's understanding about their identity as who they were and a sense of national belonging. New symbols and icons, new songs and ideas forced new links and redefined the boundaries of communities. In India, as in Vietnam and many other colonies, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti-colonial movement. People began discovering their unity in the process of their struggle with colonialism. The sense of belonging, the sense of being oppressed under colonialism provided a shared bond that tied many different groups together. But each class groups felt the effects of colonialism differently. In this particular chapter, we will discuss about the happenings that took place after 1919. In this particular chapter, we will discuss about the various movements started by Mahatma Gandhi, such as the non-cooperation movement, the civil disobedience movement, and many others. Let's begin with the first topic, the First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. In the years after 1919, we see the national movement spreading to new areas, incorporating new social groups and developing new modes of struggle. First of all, the First World War, which was started in 1914, created a new economic and political situation in our country. It led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Custom duties were raised and income tax introduced. Through the war years, prices of essential commodities increased, doubling between 1913 and 1918, leading to extreme hardship and the shortages of food. Villagers were called upon to supply soldiers as the forced recruitment in rural areas caused widespread anger. The people from the rural areas were picked up by the Britishers so that these people could join the war. There was forced recruitment. The people living in the rural areas were forcefully taken by the Britishers so that they could join the war, and this created a widespread anger among the common people. This was accompanied by an influenza epidemic. According to the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people perished as a result of famines and the epidemic. So this particular period was very hard for the ordinary citizens, for the common man. They were compelled by the Britishers to do different types of work which they did not want. And as a result, there was widespread shortages of food, and due to shortages of food, people died in many numbers. People hoped that their hardships would end after the war was over. People were very cautious, and at the same time, they wanted that after the war ended, everything would become normal. But the First World War lasted for many years. That was from 1914 to 1918, and as a result of prolonged war, the life of the ordinary citizens in India got affected. So let's discuss about another topic, the idea of Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. As you know, he had come from South Africa, where he had successfully fought the racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation. So, what was called Satyagraha according to Mahatma Gandhi? He meant that the idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need to search for truth. He meant that Satyagraha meant the power of truth and the need to search for truth. It suggested that if the cause was true, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppression. It means that if our cause was true, if our desire was true, and we were all fighting for the welfare of the people, for the freedom of the country, then even the oppressor could not do anything. Without seeking vengeance or being aggressive, a Satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. We don't have to involve in violence. We don't have to be very violative. With the help of truth and non-violence, we can achieve our success. What Mahatma Gandhi meant through the meaning of Satyagraha. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including the oppressors, had to be persuaded to see the truth instead of being forced to accept through the use of violence. By this struggle, truth was bound to ultimately triumph. Mahatma Gandhi believed that this dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians together. So, the Satyagraha movement, which was launched by Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa, became very successful there. And this movement, this Satyagraha movement, Mahatma Gandhi wanted to start in India also. So he started, after coming from South Africa in the year 1915, he started moving from place to place throughout the country. And finally, in 1916, he traveled to Champaran district in Bihar to inspire the peasants' struggle against the oppressive plantation system. In Champaran district, the peasants were forced to grow indigo, which was meant for dyeing purpose in England. These indigo were cultivated in India by the Britishers so that they could took this indigo to England where it was used for dyeing clothes. As you know, most of the clothes were manufactured with the help of machines in England, especially in Manchester city. So in order to dye clothes, indigo was needed, and these Britishers, they started forcing the poor peasants to grow indigo in place of other crops, and this was not at all liked by the ordinary citizens living in Bihar, especially in Champaran district. So when Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1916 went to Champaran districts of Bihar, he saw the conditions of the poor people. The conditions of the poor people were very worse. So he decided to fight for their right. He decided to fight for justice. Then in the next year, that was in the year 1917, he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of the Kheda district of Gujarat. The Kheda district, which is located in the state of Gujarat, the people had their own problem, affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic. The peasants of Kheda could not pay revenue to the government and were demanding the revenue collection to be relaxed. The people of Kheda district, they wanted that the revenue should be relaxed so that they did not have to pay much revenue to the government. But the Britishers were not in a mood to relax the revenue. In 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad in Gujarat to organize a satyagraha movement amongst cotton mill workers. The cotton mill workers who were working in Ahmedabad cotton mills had their own problem. They used to do hard work. They used to work overtime work, but they were not given proper wages. So they were demanding that their wages must be increased, and as a result what happened means they went to strike. So from 1916 to 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went from place to place. He took the situation under his control. He understood the basic problems of the people living in different areas, and finally he decided to launch the Satyagraha movement in India. So let's discuss about another main topic, the Rowlatt Act. What was called the Rowlatt Act? Emboldened with the success, Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1919 decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act, which was passed in the year 1919. This act had been very hurriedly passed. It means this act was passed in a very quick succession through the Imperial Legislative Council in England, despite the united opposition of the Indian members. The Rowlatt Act was an act which was passed by the British government, by the Imperial Legislative Council in the year 1919. Through this act, the Britishers were given enormous power in India, and this Rowlatt Act was passed by the Britishers to apply in India directly. And it act means this particular act gave the government enormous powers to repress political activities and allowed detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. The political prisoners who were arrested and put behind the bar, the Britishers through this act had the right to detain them in jail for 2 years without having any trial on their cases. Means the Britishers could arrest political people, political prisoners, and they could put them behind the bar for 2 years without having any trial upon them. So this act was declared as unjust act by Mahatma Gandhi, and he decided to fight against this unjust law. Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violent civil disobedience movement against such unjust laws, which was decided to be started on 6th of April 1919 with a hartal. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railway workshops and shops closed down. Alarmed by the popular upsurge and scared that lines of communication such as the railways and telegraph would be disrupted, the British administration decided to clamp down on nationalists. Local leaders were picked up from various places, especially from Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. He was not allowed to enter Delhi. On 10th of April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking widespread attacks on banks, post offices, and railway stations. Martial law was imposed and General Dyer took the command. So there was disturbance throughout the town areas, especially in Punjab. A peaceful rally was going on, a peaceful procession was going on, and the Britishers thought that this peaceful rally will turn into a violent rally, and the transport and communications, especially the railway network and the telecommunications, will be affected. So they decided to clamp down the agitation which were started by the people in Amritsar. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. On 13th April, the Jallianwala Bagh took place. On that day, a large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Some came to protest against the government's new repressive measures. Others had come to attend the annual Baisakhi festival. Being from outside the city, many villagers were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. General Dyer entered the area, blocked the exit, and opened fire on the crowd, killing hundreds of people. His object, as he declared later, was to produce a moral effect to create in the minds of Satyagrahis a feeling of terror and awe. He wanted that such type of activities will lead to a fear in the mind of the people, and the common citizens and the ordinary citizens of India will not be in a position to go against the rule of the Britishers. He wanted to inflict a fear in the minds of the people. As the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, crowds took to the streets in many North Indian towns. There were strikes, clashes with the police, and attacks on government buildings. The government responded with brutal repression, seeking to humiliate and terrorize people. Satyagrahis were forced to rub their noses on the ground, crawl on the streets, and to salam to all sahibs. People were flogged and villages were bombed. Seeing violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. So, the civil disobedience movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi against the Rowlatt Act, which was passed in the country. But he did not think that such type of activities will be done on part of the Britishers and the people will be killed in such a large number. He was very much upset with the incident that took place in Jallianwala Bagh. He never thought that such type of incident will take place, where thousands and thousands of people will be injured and several hundreds of people will be killed. So he decided to call off the civil disobedience movement. Let's begin with the next topic, the Khilafat movement. While the Rowlatt Satyagraha had been a widespread movement in India, it was still limited mostly to cities and towns. The Satyagraha movement, which was started by Mahatma Gandhi, was limited only to cities and towns. It needed to be more widespread. So Mahatma Gandhi decided that the movement should not be limited only to cities and towns, but they should spread throughout the country, especially in the rural areas. Mahatma Gandhi now felt the need to launch a more broad-based movement in India, but he was certain that no such movement could be organized without bringing the Hindus and Muslims closer together. Now, Mahatma Gandhi was in a mood to start more broad-based movement, and for this he needed the support of people belonging to different communities, especially the Muslim communities. One way of doing this, he felt, was to take up the Khilafat issue. So, in order to bring the Hindus and Muslims together, he decided to support the Khilafat movement. The First World War had ended with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey, and there were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Empire, the spiritual head of the Islamic world, called the Khalifa. To defend the Khalifa's temporal powers, a Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919. A young generation of Muslim leaders like the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of a united mass action on the issue. Means the Ali brothers wanted that Mahatma Gandhi should support the Khilafat issue. For this, he needed to convince Mahatma Gandhi just to tell the leaders of the Congress party to support the Khilafat issue. Gandhiji saw this as an opportunity to bring Muslims under the umbrella of a unified national movement. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, the Calcutta session was held in the year 1920. He convinced other leaders of the Congress to start a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. So Mahatma Gandhi decided to convince the other leaders of the Congress to support the Khilafat issue, so that in future these Muslims community people will also support in the national struggle. So in order to start a large agitation, in order to start a large movement, it required the support of the people belonging to different communities, and Mahatma Gandhi saw Khilafat issue as an important opportunity, and so he finally decided to support the Khilafat movement, and he also tried to convince the leaders of the Congress party to support the Khilafat issue, so that it will be beneficial for the country in the future. Thank you.